All right, guys, it's time to check out the third generation of the Nodus Retrospect. So there's some changes, and I can't vividly remember exactly what the second one was. So I'm going to kind of wing it a little bit and what I think is the difference. I didn't verify this too much. I did go back and watch one of my old videos, so I think I have a pretty good idea. So let's get into it. So first off, big thanks to Wes and Cullen, the owners of Nodus, for sending this over. This is a demo watch, and here is the tag for it. It's labeled as R3 white and demo, assembled by Cullen. And here is the regulation numbers, because they do 4-position regulation with the Seiko NH35 that is in this watch. So well done on that. Pretty much everything about this is going to be a value, a bunch of actually added value, because for one, they actually assembled them in Los Angeles, so they are in control of their quality control, which is important when you're buying a micro brand, because things could still happen, but the brand owner is actually putting this watch together, so I'm thinking it's probably done with a little more care. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the case size. So this one is 42 millimeter at the bezel. So the old one, or the second gen at least, the bezel actually did not overhang the case. So this bezel actually goes out a little bit further than the case. The case, as far as I can tell, I think is the same. If you guys know 100% sure, let me know, but I don't have another one here right now with me, so I think the case is essentially the same at 40.5 millimeter. It's just that the bezel is 42 millimeter, which helps it present larger. Actually, really enjoyed wearing it today. I wore it all day at work today, and it had a little more wrist presence, which I felt like it needed. I felt like the bezel being undersized, or not undersized, but the same size as the case, just felt a little too small. The other thing it did is it made the case feel like tall, because there was no dimensional break, and when you have that bezel at a different width than the case, whether it be larger or smaller, it gives it a break line, so it doesn't look like it's just a tall stack. So anyway, 42, 40.5, the lug to lug 48, and they are drilled, and you can see there's a little bit of an extension. That center link on the solid end link does articulate, but it does actually extend the lug to lug a little bit, probably bringing it closer to like 50, which I like. Thickness is 14 millimeter, so somewhere in between like 13.5 and 14, but you do have a slightly boxed and double domed sapphire crystal, and then again, obviously you can see, and we'll do some close-ups, that the bezel is actually sloped downwards, so a lot of dimension here. And 22 millimeter lug width. This excellent bracelet tapers down to 18. I feel like they softened the bracelet even a little bit more. I don't know if they did any changes to the bracelet, but this is one of the best H-Link bracelets I've ever handled. And I've handled a lot, and I'm telling you, this one is like sorted. And even the hardware now has a lot more thread on it, so even if it were to back out, it'd have to back out for like weeks before it would fall out. I didn't notice any thread lock or anything on those, so, and they did all need to be tightened just a bit, so you might want to pull those out and put a little thread lock and put them back in once you get the size sorted, and I think you'll be good forever. 7.5 millimeter crown, and if I recall, the crown on the previous one was 7 millimeter, so they upsized it, but they had to be careful, because now the bezel is overhanging and you're doing with a huge crown. You got to watch for interference there, which they accomplished that. So I don't know if they were lucky or good, but a nice oversized crown and bezel action, 120 click, excellent bezel action. It's so clean and crisp. There's no play in it. Back settle maybe. I'm not calling that play, guys. That's settling back into position, and it lines up. So like I said, brushed ceramic on that. It weighs in size for my 7.25 inch wrist at 164 grams. So it has a nice weight to it as well. So if we zoom in here, you can see a really nice, I almost thought it was steel and then coated like some other brands do, but they say on their website that it's actually brushed ceramic bezel insert. And I love the look of it. It is like, it's not even matte finish, right? It's because it's brushed, like it still will give you a little bit of reflection, but then it's in most angles it looks matte, so it has a little bit of color play. You can see that blue anti-reflective coating on the crystal, of course, on the bottom side. You also will notice a sandwich dial. That's the Retrospect gig, right? They are going to keep going with that as long as they keep making these, I'm sure. And the Lume on this is now C3X1. I'm not sure what they used before, but C3X1, you guys know I'm a huge fan of that. C3X1 on micro brands glows longer, brighter, and it just in every aspect is better than even Seiko Lume. So if you love your Lume, and a lot of these micro brands will, do this because they're watch enthusiasts often, just like you and I are, and they like that Lume, they like the good bezel action, they like, all the things we like. So when they build a watch, they want it to have all of that. A high polished black handset with the seconds hand reaching, almost disappearing all the way to the edge of the dial, and a blue arrow on the tip. And you can see also that the 12, 3, and 9 fangs or teeth or whatever you want to call cutouts are a little bit larger than the other indices, with the exception of obviously 6, because you have your date at 6, and it is also cut out and layered. So they revealed a little bit of the, I keep pointing with my finger, I know you guys are going to complain about that. They left a little bit of reveal of the sandwich dial there, so it has a little trick up its sleeve. When you go to look at the Lume, you're going to see a lumed boxed in date window, which is very fun, very cool. Nice little touch. So excellent finishing on this, pretty much brushed, a couple polished reliefs, fully brushed bracelet, polished on the side flanks there. Just well executed. Here's a look at the case back real quick if you're interested in that. Pretty sterile, nice and smooth on the wrist with some information designed and assembled in Los Angeles. And there we go. Also, I don't remember having quick release spring bars on the bracelet. I don't know if that's new, I can't remember. But that's always a little fun little trick too. As long as the spring bars are, strong enough, I think they do a good job. They make it that way because this watch doesn't typically come with an extra strap. They sent this over just as a thank you, because this is a demo, so they wanted me to show you the strap, but also they're allowing me to keep this strap. So big thanks again for gifting that. And it kind of almost feels like a canvas on the top. I don't know if it is or if it's rubberized and it just seems like that. I think it's just rubberized and it looks like canvas, and then it's like a rubber or silicone rubber on the bottom. So kind of like a hybrid strap almost, or simulated hybrid, but this thing's probably gonna be really comfortable because it's super flexible too. But quick release spring bars there, so you can swap it out and do all kinds of cool stuff. 22 millimeter. I know a lot of people gravitate towards 20, but I think with this watch, the 22 just works really good, and it makes the taper on the bracelet more dramatic looking, and I really dig that. I think I covered just about everything. Price, one of the best parts, on top of the fact that it's just already an awesome watch with the rising prices of all brands, essentially. This one's still under $500 at $475. I am not mad about that. Let me show you what it looks like on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Now they call this one the white one, and in many lights it might look white, but it is definitely a silver dial. It is way more silver than, you know what? It might be close. Let me grab it. Because just like the Omega, yeah, it's actually pretty close. They call this one a white dial, but it's silver too, right? It's a little more silver than even the Omega is. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I didn't show you the clasp. Fully milled out clasp, double pusher, very simple, 3 micro adjust. I had no problem getting fitment, so I don't think you will either. One more micro adjust, that would have been kind of cool, but I think 3 is good. I really like this clasp. It's very clean and efficient. All right, let's kill the lights and check the Lume on this. I think I rambled on plenty long enough. Yep, killer Lume. They also have some variants with a stainless steel bezel insert. Man, that Lume C3X1 is such a beast. And check out that, like I said, that framed date window. It's nothing to help you read the date. It's just fun and it's cool. Like, they could do it, so they did do it, and I like it. I appreciate it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.